I would say if screenplay format is something that you have studied and you are familiar with, then you have nothing to lose by trying to do it yourself. But it is a different format. It definitely is a different way of writing. And so you can't approach writing a book the same way you would approach writing a screenplay, and you can't approach a screenplay in the same way of writing a novel. They are two different disciplines. And if you are put in the time to understand the format with screenplays, because with books you can do a lot of different approaches to how you're going to tell your story depending on the genre. Screenplays are very specific in the sense that the people reading them, the people who work in production, directors, producers, they understand, they will be able to tell immediately if you know what you're doing or if you don't. So if you don't feel like you understand the format and you understand the process of conveying a script with information being conveyed visually versus with a lot of exposition in a novel, then you're better off trying to give it to somebody who would know the format and and you work with that writer closely to convey how you want to have the story unfold. But I think that people who write, I don't think you should ever try to limit yourself in the ways that you can write. If you've written a novel, you've got it in you to commit to doing the work. So it's just a different type of commitment in writing a screenplay. And if you've already written a novel, you've proven that you can be dedicated to your craft. And so think of the screenplay as being an extension of your book. It's not something where you're just going to replicate every single thing that's in your book, because there are ways that you're going to have to convey information in a screenplay that you convey differently in the book. In my book, it's told first person by Greer, who's a 15-year-old girl. For the screenplay, which I do plan to write, because actually the book was originally envisioned as a screenplay. And then I decided, I know I can do that. I want to try to do this as a book. And also because I had scripts that had gotten meetings, one of them specifically that got great reaction, got meetings all over town, but it didn't sell because it was an original drama. And there were executives who had said to me and said to my agent at the time, well, if it was based on something, we'd buy it. And they wanted to have that established property of it either being a true story or being based on some pre-existing material of some kind. So when I got this idea for this story, I was originally going to do it as a script, and then I thought, I know, I'll write it as a book, and then I can write the screenplay, and then when they say, what's it based on, I can say, here's the book. So it was my brilliant idea of a backdoor way to sell a screenplay, which, again, took 7 years longer than I thought it would. But that's the main thing I would say to people is just don't be afraid to try it. Try to adapt it, and then give it to people to read and see what comes back. And you'll know whether or not you're onto something.